Hey everyone, welcome to A Different Story. I'm Jason. We all know that emperors in ancient China held absolute power. Their palaces were filled with thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands of women. That's something you'll see over and over again in the history books. But have you ever wondered, during those times of strict traditions and rules, were there emperors who chose one lifetime, one woman? How did they manage to do that? Today, we're uncovering the stories of these rare emperors who chose true love over power. Our story begins with the very first emperor in China's history to truly practice monogamy. In the year 535, Emperor Yuan Baoju of Western Wei named his 10-year-old son, Yuan Qin, as crown prince. But the real power wasn't in the emperor's hands. It was controlled by a powerful minister named Yuan Tai. To tighten his grip on the throne and prepare for his own future takeover, Yuan Tai made a calculated move. He married his daughter to the young crown prince, Yuan Qin. This was a classic political marriage. Yuan Tai's plan was simple. His daughter would act as a spy inside the royal family, keeping an eye on the future emperor. Yuan Qin understood this perfectly well, so at first he kept a distance and refused to trust her. But to his surprise, Lady Yuan wasn't a schemer at all. She was kind, gentle, and loyal. From the moment she married him, she chose to stand by her husband. Not only did she refuse to betray him, she even defended him in front of her powerful father again and again. She encouraged Yuan Qin, "Don't give up, stay strong. One day you'll be a good emperor." Gradually, Yuan Qin's feelings changed, from suspicion to gratitude to deep love. The two became inseparable. In the year 551, Yuan Qin took the throne and made Lady Yuan his empress. His love was so strong that throughout his time as crown prince and emperor, he never took concubines. Out of more than 400 emperors in Chinese history, Yuan Qin became the very first to really live as a one-woman man. But their happiness didn't last long. Yuan Tai grew more arrogant by the day, and it became obvious that he was preparing to seize the throne. Yuan Qin's relative, Yuan Li, couldn't stand it anymore and tried to assassinate Yuan Tai. The attempt failed, and Yuan Li was killed. The struggle for power reached a boiling point. Yuan Qin decided he had to strike first. He turned to two of Yuan Tai's other sons-in-law, asking them to help him bring Yuan Tai under control. You might wonder, why didn't he ask other ministers for help? Because by then, almost every powerful minister in the court was already under Yuan Tai's control. Unfortunately, those two sons-in-law betrayed him. They promised to help, but secretly told Yuan Tai everything. Furious, Yuan Tai stormed into the palace with troops, forced Yuan Qin to step down, and then placed Yuan Qin's younger brother, Yuan Kwa, on the throne. Yuan Qin was thrown into prison. With no hope left for his country, the only comfort he had was that his wife was still by his side. He thought maybe, even in captivity, they could still live out their days together as husband and wife. Empress Yuan knew her husband's fate was sealed. She begged her father over and over to spare his life. But for Yuan Tai, Yuan Qin would always be a threat. In April of that year, Yuan Tai sent a cup of poisoned wine. Yuan Qin and Empress Yuan held each other and wept before he drank it. Heartbroken, the empress followed him in death. Together in life, together in death. They may have failed in politics, but in love, they triumphed. Empress Yuan stayed loyal to her husband and to Western Wei, even if it meant betraying her father. For that, history remembers her with respect. Their love story, written in sacrifice and sealed in death, still moves us even today. From the tragic story of Yuan Qin and Empress Yu, we've seen how power struggles can destroy love. The next story is equally dramatic and, in a way, a continuation, because the throne that Yuan Tai seized in the previous story was ultimately taken by the protagonist of this story. That's right. Today, we're talking about the second emperor, Yangjian, the founding emperor of the Sui dynasty. Yangjian was born at the end of the Northern Wei period. At the age of 17, he married the 14-year-old Dugu Jialor. It's also worth mentioning that Dugu Jialor's father was a very famous figure in Chinese history. Remarkably, all three of his daughters became empresses, and each in a different dynasty. I've even mentioned this in one of my shorts. Their marriage was filled with love, and they had several children. Through numerous military campaigns, Yangjian gradually rose to the rank of a great general. But once the country stabilized, palace warfare pulled Yangjian and his family into dangerous intrigues. The couple had to fight to protect themselves. In 559, Yuan became the fourth emperor of Northern Zhou. He married Yangjian and Dugu Jialor's daughter as his empress. But instead of feeling secure as the emperor's father-in-law, Yangjian grew more and more uneasy. The young emperor was notorious for his cruelty and lust. At one point, he even plotted to kill the empress and her father's family, but Dugu Jialor's intervention saved their lives. As the family worried about the future, the 22-year-old Yuan suddenly died, and the 6-year-old Yuan Zhen ascended the throne. Yangjian was summoned to the palace to assist the young emperor. At this critical moment, Yangjian faced a golden opportunity. He could either faithfully serve the young emperor or, like Yuan Tai before him, gradually consolidate power, and perhaps even stage a coup to claim the throne. As Yangjian hesitated, Dugu Jialor urged him, "You should seize this chance and achieve greatness." In 551, Yangjian founded the Sui dynasty. 3 days after ascending the throne, he made Dugu Jialor empress. Because of their deep bond forged through life and death trials, Yangjian never took concubines. However, in his later years, Yangjian became infatuated with a palace maid and had an affair. When Dugu Jialor found out, she was furious and had the maid executed. Angered and humiliated, Yangjian rode into the forest, crying that even as emperor, he felt not free. This shows that while Yangjian was not perfectly faithful in matters of love, he deeply respected and even feared Dugu Jialor. Had it been another emperor, he likely would have been furious and deposed the empress outright. In 602, Empress Dugu Jialor passed away at the age of 59. Yangjian held a grand funeral in her honor. But in his later years, he did take a few other concubines. So, strictly speaking, Yangjian's devotion to Dugu Jialor was not absolute fidelity. It was a mix of deep respect and a little fear. Compared to the previous two emperors, Ming Emperor Zhu Yuqing was a true one-wife emperor, and his story had a happy ending. I've mentioned his story in other videos, so let's briefly recap. Zhu Yuqing's mother was a palace maid who by chance caught the emperor's favor and became pregnant with him. His father was the famous Emperor Zhu Jianxin, known for being infatuated with his own nanny. When the emperor's favorite consort, Consort Wan, found out, she grew jealous and sent a palace maid with abortion medicine. But the maid couldn't go through with it and lied, claiming the pregnancy didn't exist. So Zhu Yuqing was secretly born and secretly raised in the palace until the age of 6, when he finally met his father and was appointed crown prince. As a child, he and his mother narrowly escaped death amid palace rivalries among the concubines. This traumatic experience left a deep mark on him. He grew to hate palace intrigues and made a solemn vow. He would marry only one woman and remain faithful to her for life. In doing so, he ensured peace within his own palace. After ascending the throne, Zhu Yuqing faithfully kept his vow, marrying only Empress Zheng. Ministers repeatedly urged him to take concubines to secure heirs, but he steadfastly refused. He became one of the most famous emperors in ancient China to truly practice monogamy during the feudal era. The last emperor we'll talk about is Zhao Shu of the Song dynasty. His love story with Gao Taotao is one of the rare cases where childhood sweethearts among emperors eventually end up together. Zhao Shu became the 5th emperor of the Song dynasty, but his path to the throne was anything but smooth. The 4th emperor, Zhao Zhen, had no sons. On the advice of his ministers, 3-year-old Zhao Shu was brought into the palace to be raised by the empress. There, he met Gao Taotao, the empress's niece, who was also under her care. The two grew up together and developed a deep bond. Because Zhao Shu was not the emperor's biological son, his early life was full of fear. Any mistake or the birth of a biological son could lead to his removal or worse, execution by a future emperor. When Zhao Shu was 7, the emperor finally had a son, and Zhao Shu was expelled from the palace, separating him from Gao Taotao. 2 years later, the emperor's biological son passed away, and ministers suggested Zhao Shu be made crown prince, but he declined. He deliberately distanced himself from court politics, unwilling to live in constant fear. Despite showing no interest in the throne, his every move was closely watched, leaving him mentally and physically exhausted. In 1047, the emperor remembered that Zhao Shu and Gao Taotao had grown up together in the palace and arranged their marriage. At age 15, they became husband and wife. Gao Taotao brought light and warmth to Zhao Shu's life, easing the lingering fear and resentment in his heart. To them, each other was perfect. Their love provided Zhao Shu with the long-awaited peace and comfort. They had 4 sons and 4 daughters and enjoyed a happy family life for many years. In 1063, the emperor passed away, and Zhao Shu ascended the throne with Gao Taotao as empress. As emperor, Zhao Shu never took a concubine, despite repeated requests from the empress dowager and ministers. The couple lived a sweet and devoted life together. However, the mental strain of Zhao Shu's early years took a toll on his health. Just 4 years into his reign, he fell seriously ill. People at the time believed marriage brought good fortune, so Gao Taotao arranged a few concubines for him, but Zhao Shu never touched them. In 1067, Zhao Shu died at the age of 36. His deep love for Gao Taotao kept him faithful throughout his life. The emperor and empress upheld a true monogamous bond, becoming a unique example in the Song dynasty. After his death, Gao Taotao devoted herself to supporting the new emperor, playing a key role in safeguarding the Song dynasty. In short, these emperors prove that even those who hold supreme power can remain loyal to love, choosing one partner for life. Their stories are among the most touching alternatives in history. That's it for today's story. Don't miss our next video. We'll see you there.